Hey there, Kings! We are just around the corner of another MTG release, but this is one I'm particularly excited about. We are in spoiler season for Wilds of Eldraine. Now, over the next couple of days, I want to take a look at all the things spoiled and released for the upcoming set and give my opinions on them. So, stick around, we're gonna have some fun. Let's start with one of my favorite things, the basic lands. These showcase basics are beautiful. I hope these come in every pack and the bundles come with a land pack of these style of basics. Ashiok Wicked Manipulator is a planeswalker for 3 black. Ashiok starts with 5 loyalty and has the static ability: if you would pay life while your library has at least that many cards left, exile that many cards from the top of your library instead. Its +1 ability looks at the top 2 cards of your deck, and you get to put one into your hand and the other into exile. This is a card advantage ability, just like Karn Scion of Urza's. The -2 ability creates 2 black nightmare creature tokens with an effect that gives it a +1/+1 counter at the beginning of combat if a card was put into exile this turn. Imagine on turn 4 with a ramp spell, right? You make 2 1/1 creatures, and the following turn they become 2/2s by activating Ashiok's +1 ability. Now that sounds pretty strong. Ashiok's -7 exiles the top X cards of a player's library equal to the total mana value of cards you own in exile. If you built your deck around having huge cards in exile, you have the ability to deck your opponent in a single turn. Now remember, we are in Eldraine, so another type of card goes into exile, so consider those as well. We see the return of manlands, starting with Relentless Fortress. This is a tapped white-black land that you can pay 2 white-black to make it a 1/4, and whenever it attacks, defending player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Now, this isn't the most properly rated card, costing 4 mana to give it 1 power, but whenever you attack and it isn't blocked, your opponent loses 3 life. And that 4 toughness is nothing to joke about with either. We have Adventures back, and they first revealed Cruel Somnophage. It's a 1 black nightmare creature, with its power and toughness being equal to the number of creature cards in all graveyards. You may cast it for its adventure, Can't Wake Up for 1 and a blue, that mills target player for 4 cards. Now this sounds like a good control finisher that can end the game by answering all your opponent's creatures. Not to mention, milling 4 as a way to pump it up early gives this a little extra reach. Another blast from Eldraine's past is having food back in standard. We have Tough Cookie. It's an artifact creature food golem for 1 and a green, and when it enters, you create a food token. You can pay 2 and a green to animate a non-creature artifact you control, turning it into a 4/4 until the end of turn. Plus, you can sacrifice Tough Cookie to gain 3 life. This is a flexible 2-for-1, and late game, with enough mana and enough artifacts, you're going to be able to create a mini army to overwhelm the game, and you can sacrifice it in a pinch to gain that little bit of life you need to survive. Now we have a sweet reprint with Sleight of Hand. Sleight of Hand is a sorcery for a single blue that allows you to look at the top 2 cards of your library and you put one of them into your hand and the other on the bottom of your deck. This card is great fixing early and even late game that all blue decks will inevitably run. Also, having this in Pioneer is a big plus in my books. Next, we have Talion the Kindly Lord. Talion is a 2 blue-black legendary Fey Noble 3/4 with flying, and the ability to pick a number between 1 to 10. Whenever a player casts a spell with mana value, power, or toughness equal to the chosen number, that player loses 2 life and you draw a card. Now, this card looks more like a limited bomb than a constructed one, as it really requires you to be knowledgeable of the most repeated numbers in the set. But if you manage to luck out and you pick the right number, prepare to drain and be rewarded for remembering whatever was past or all the cards in the set. Lastly, we have the spoiled, made for commander card, Moonshaker Cavalry. This 6/6 Night Spirit costs 5 white with flying, and when it enters, creatures you control gain flying and +X/+X, where X is the number of creatures you control. This is Craterhoof Behemoth. Plain and simple, this is Craterhoof, another great finisher in Commander, and I already have like 3 or 4 decks I'm looking to run this in. Not to mention the evasion that this gives. At least with Craterhoof, you could reduce that damage by some small number because of blocking. If you attack a player without reach or without flyers, this is just a total wipeout. Again, I'm looking for many copies of this card myself, so please help out your fellow king. And that's it for the cards spoiled for Wilds of Eldraine back in July. I'll be working on covering some of the other cards as well as the enchanted tales that are guaranteed to come with the set. But tell me, what do you think? Are you excited or hyped about our return to Eldraine? What enchantments are you hoping to see reprinted as an enchanted tale? Let me know by liking, sharing, commenting, or subscribing to the channel. Thank you, Kings, very much, and I'll see you guys next time.